So,
True. She definitely had untied shoelaces and tripped over her feet.
for sure. Anyway, enough shitting on Thea as much as my favorite topic. Let's go on to the picks and bans. So kicking it off, I mean we've got a Yoro cover going, and I'm not surprised by that one at all.
I'm not surprised one bit either. It needed to be banned. He was a menace.
Yeah, so just want to make sure that we are watching. Yes, so the team names haven't changed quite yet. They're getting changed at the moment, so ignore that for the first part. But yes, the Yorick is being banned away at the moment, and also the Silas.
Yes, that is on the Ezoro. He's showing himself. He's capable in the mid lane. He doesn't play easy jungle champions like Volley and Hecarim. He can play more mechanically intensive champions like Silas.
Yeah, and so is that a Renata ban? So that's the first time we've seen this champ banned or even picked for that matter. So it's banned away for Cat, which is showing a lot of respect to them.
I rate it. Renata is just stupidly OP. Even if you're not the best at her, she's still just such a strong champ with that ultimate.
Yeah.
You just gotta get her out.
And so the Ezreal taken away from Ducky because that was his MVP performance, so I'm not surprised by that at all. Silas away from Lazy, so we're already seeing bans that have been adapted to watching the teams in previous games. So I like that adaptation, and the Kane being banned away, which is following along in those themes.
But they have let through Plebagons, Lee Sin, his Evelyn, his Zac, his Udi. The list is endless.
Yeah.
What is he going to pick? Definitely something he can hard carry on, as he showed he can do it time and time again. Personally, I want to see his Lee Sin. He is so good at it. It's a treat to watch every time.
I have not seen him play Lee Sin, but every time he plays it, I lose the game. So, um, I haven't seen him much in the last week or in scrims, but anyway, so the Gnar going to be picked up off the bat. That's a blind pick Gnar, and if I know anything, I play Gnar a lot myself, and the biggest counter to Gnar is an Aurelia. So I don't know if Hemorrhage plays much Aurelia, but if he picks Aurelia here, I mean, this Gnar is screwed. You cannot play the game physically as a Gnar into Aurelia. This could be a perfect example of last game where the Shannon to Yorick kind of situation.
A Kled, I
A
love
Kled.
to see it.
And there's the Zac
And
I
the
expected
Zac.
it. See, so already some comfort and some very strong champions. I mean, they're quirky champions. You don't often see them in pro play or even in general play. So, low pick rate champs that are very specialized to these players individually. But the Volibear are going to be picked up, and we're already seeing quite a team fight orientated comp with the Leona following in suit.
Yes, and you can see already by the Zac and Kled pick, that allows Kyronix to play potentially as Pike or Senna. Doesn't need to play an engaged champ, doesn't need to play something which is pretty hanky with CC. He can do something which will enable him to hard carry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, good balance in team comp for the blue side, but they will definitely need to kind of see where their ADC is headed because I do believe that the Caitlyn might get banned eventually, but the Diana could be locked in. Quite interesting.
Quite interesting. I would have maybe thought a Rise for Ezoro, but Rise is a terrible blind pick sometimes, especially into like a TF. No idea if Happy Guy plays it. He could have potentially picked Victor into Rise, but who
Yeah.
knows?
So one thing that I completely forgot to mention, which I was just reminded of, is Billy's not actually playing this one. So Happy Guy has come back from his work shift and will be actually substituting back in for his team.
Hive, Happy Guy. I hope Bunnings was pretty good and worth it for missing the first game.
Yeah, or Zing, or wherever you work. But either way, Samira going to get banned away here. That's going to be for Last Note, aka Ducky. And the Rakan banned away for Kyronix. I mean, that's the first ban I've seen towards Kyronix. That shows enough respect as it is, right?
I have just been informed it's KFC. My apologies, Vincent. I actually really respect you now.
Okay, well, I mean, that would have been my third guess. But anyway, moving on. The Corki banned away. Very strong pick at the moment. It just needs to be nerfed. So, surprise. I am surprised though that they banned it. I didn't know Vincent actually played much Corki, but either way, we're going to move on to the last ban from Homicidal Urges. So, they could look to ban something for Sylvia, such as a Vayne or something like that, or even a Caitlyn. But we'll see what they go with.
I reckon in the bans
Azeri.
from Kyronix hard carries that Ezoro is saying, do not ban the Victor. I want
Mhm.
to verse it. He wants to show he's better than Happy Guy. He's able to flex on him in the mid lane and show he's the better player.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the Yumi being hovered, but I do assume that the Vayne will be picked. I mean, that's Sylvia's favorite ADC, and he already kind of flicked onto it for a brief second. So there's the Vayne. Not surprised at all. as it gets locked in. And the answer, I mean, they still got to pick an ADC here and also a mid lane. What are you thinking, Joe?
I'm thinking, I still reckon the Victor for Vincent, that's what he's want. That's potentially what Kyronix hard carry are baiting him into, but time will tell what he'll pick. And then the last champion in ADC, something into a vein, Azaya would be a fantastic pick.
Isaiah would be an interesting pick. I mean, provides a bit more survivability than say a Kai'Sa, but he wants to go all in, and he's going to pick this Kai'Sa. And I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, you've got Diana and Zac, and they're going to be on to that Kai'Sa like no tomorrow, and Kai'Sa doesn't have really any self peel. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it could be good. I don't really know.
And then what is Vincent wanting for his last champion? Who knows? They're hovering everything under the sun, and it's a
And
Kassadin.
Cassidy. Okay, so they're going for more of a dive comp. At first, I thought they were going for some sort of brawly type comp, but I mean, it makes sense. They've got 5 members in a team that all follow the same theme. They've got, Nah who can dive in, Volley dives in, Leona goes in, Kai'Sa's Cassidy. So they're going full dive, but the only issue I have is they've got a Zac. What are you diving into? Zac is going to be bouncing all over you.
And that is a fantastic last pick to counter the dive comp. Someone dives you, if Kai'Sa ults in, you just polymorph her and then she's useless straight away. So I love that pickup for Cryonics.
That is a fantastic pick. I don't know if he plays much Lulu, but I mean, there isn't much of a better pick against this comp, really. Lulu is the fantastic catalyst for Vayne to get ahead and also for Vayne to stay alive. So Bees is going to be the kind of focus of this team because there's so many supporting pieces. As much as Diana does a lot of damage, she herself is a bit more of a supporting piece as well. And I assume Hemorrhage is just going to be playing the same kind of thing he was doing last game on that Yorick, pushing down those lanes and trying to just create a lead for his team in the top lane.
I think personally, from seeing these drafts here, I definitely prefer. Might be a bit of a curveball, Kyronix hard carry. You'd say Homicidal Urges are more standard, what you'd rather like in general, but with how they've set that up for the Vayne, with the peel with the Kled, with the peel with the Zac diving in,
Mm-hmm.
and Diana diving in, can just ult and pulls everyone away from the Vayne.
Yeah.
It'll be a fantastic to see how well he plays.
So in terms of storylines, I know last game we had the Sylvia versus Bubbles matchup, but I think the big one for me in this game is going to be the Kyronix versus the Cat matchup because that's where the
True.
rivalry is at, right? I mean, Kyronix is an up and coming support. Cat's been at the support game for a long time, and this is going to be one of those situations where they're both trying to prove themselves and prove themselves to Twitch chat, to us, to everyone watching. So I really do hope we get to see a lot of action in the bot lane and see who reigns supreme.
I think for me, the storyline here is definitely Ezoro versus Happy Guy. Happy Guy first average rivals, he was seen as one of the best players. It might be a bit harsh to say, he might not be seen on that tier anymore. So Vincent is going to want to show himself that he still is one of the best players, not just like an Aurelia Wukong player. He can play in the mid lane. And then Ezoro, this is his first tournament in the mid lane, picking the Diana, which he uses in the jungle sometimes, showing he is able to hang with the big boys, able to smurf on them, able to show he belongs there.
Yep, I couldn't have said it better myself, Joe. That storyline is going to be very interesting. I know Lazy was starting off the tournament kind of trying to prepare to play jungle, but they found in scrims that Plebegon just needed to be in the jungle, and Lazy picked up the mid lane very easily. I mean, cast your mind back to 3 months ago, Lazy wouldn't even step foot in a lane. So for him to be in an average rivals in a lane is definitely a big step, and he's looking to prove himself in this situation.
Oh, I'm just pumped to get this going. I want to see some fights. I want to see more skirmishes, more deaths, more kills, more items, more everything.
Yeah, so we've been given word that sometimes the summoners that you see on screen at the moment aren't always 100% accurate for what happens in the game, but sometimes they are. So, I mean, we can look at Kled's summoners right now, and if they're exactly what they say they are, he's got a barrier.
Look, Barrow is a fantastic pick. Maybe not necessarily against their team, but if a Kassadin does dive on him or a Kai'Sa does dive on him, it'll be really handy. Or if he dives in with the Kledo, it just gives him that extra survivability.
I don't know too much about Kled tech, but I wonder if it's kind of like a Warwick situation where once you're in and on top of the Gnar, if you pop the barrier, you just don't take damage in those short, trades. So,
He
I
could do
mean,
it just so he stays in form for much longer. I don't know how the interaction
oh
works,
yeah,
but if he does barrier, does that mean he won't necessarily drop into that lower health bar
actually,
and hop off his mount?
that's a really good point I didn't even think about is, Kled just needs that extra second sometimes to get back on his mount. So barriers could be actually quite smart. But no TP means he can't actually TP from top lane or bot lane later in the game to go to objectives. So that's one thing he's sacrificing. But obviously, being Kled, sometimes he doesn't need that since
You don't
his
need it. You
ultimate.
just roll in.
Yep, his ultimate is used for that situation exactly. So, I mean, maybe before the TP changes, he still would have had to go TP. But I think now, definitely he doesn't need to. All right, we're just loading in now. Both teams getting prepared, loading into the fountain, and this should be pretty interesting.
Let's go, Kyronix. Show us why you are the hard carry of this team. Why this team was named after you.
Yeah, can we get some love in the chat for Kyronix?
And no love for Ezoro. He doesn't deserve it.
It's true. All right, so other than that, there's not many takeaways. Obviously, the win conditions we can talk about briefly, but Homicidal have a full dive comp, and their win condition is pretty much shutting down this Vayne, making sure this Vayne doesn't exist in any sort of team fight capacity. But I mean, that's what the Lulu and the Zac is for, right? That's what they're going to be stopping all game long. So we'll see. There's two very different win conditions. One playing more of an aggressive, one playing more of a defensive.
What's going on, guys? We need to see the game.
Yeah, I am as eager as you, Joe.
Yeah, well...
Good luck with
I
those
really,
cold shifts, Tempo. It's so cold.
I really want to see Kyronix just... He's on a Lulu. I haven't seen him play Lulu in
How cold is that? Yeah,
yonkers.
so Tempo just tried to taste the very, very refreshing cold Guzman chip. The thing about Guzman chips are they're good, but they do not hold up for long at all. Like compared to other, like KFC or whatever, like they are just horrible cold. So
Look, mate, you know I've never had Guzman, so there's no need to flex on me right here. I can't get it where I am.
mate, Joe, I'm telling you, come up to Sydney, mate. I'll get you some Guzman.
No.
Mate, it's so good. I promise you.
Look, why don't you come down to the wee little old
Because you
Tassie?
don't have Guzman
Yeah,
down there.
oh, but we'll get you some apples. We're called the
Yeah.
apple. Oh, okay, we'll scrap this. We're into the game. No one needs to hear the apples. We'll save it for a later date when hopefully there's no fighting going on.
All right. So, I guess we can talk a little bit about the runes.
The runes. Yeah, everything looks pretty standard to me. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, everything looks pretty standard. Obviously, Nar has two options. He can either go Fleet or he can go Grasp. I generally think in most situations, Grasp is a little bit better. And then you've also got Lethal Temporal and Vayne. I have seen Vayne go for other options such as PTA or even Conqueror, but I think at the moment with how strong press attack is, even after the nerfs, it's definitely not a bad option for Vayne.
And looking at the items, can see the Kai'Sa did go the longsword with the triple health pot, which I love so much more than the Doran's Blade. Lets you get that mythic, that Noon Quiver so much faster. And then Vincent in the mid lane just flexing on Ezoro saying, hey, you're not better than me, I'm better with the Dark Seal.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the thing about that is if he dies, I mean it's really really bad, right? But if he gets a kill, then obviously it's really good. So the efficiency is one of those things. It's a bit of a coin. Yeah, it's a coin flip. It's a coin flip. Okay, so Zac's gonna be starting on the top side of the map and will be pathing down, whereas Zealous is gonna go for more of a traditional approach, starting on the bottom side of the map, pathing up.
Seems like Plebegon does trust Hemorrhage enough to where he can just leave him on an island. He can 1v1 the other top laner because he's better and wants to ensure his bot lane's fine.
Yep, and look, if Homicidal have been kind of paying attention to the way that this team's been playing previously, then they know from the last game that Pleb often kind of passed down towards that bot line to provide security. So they got to kind of play around that and try and play safe towards that kind of 3-minute 30 mark, just so they don't get dove and killed early on.
Pretty standard so far. Nothing out of the ordinary going on. Do know Vincent is getting a wee bit of a CS lead over Lazy, but that should be expected over the Diana.
Yep, and in the bot lane, Sylvia and Kyronix should be getting this level 2 first. As we see here, they're about to get it right here. Yep, they got it. They could roll forward and put on some aggression, but at the same time, Homicidal will get their level 2, so it's going to kind of stabilize a little bit.
It is Vayne Lulu. Their whole job is just survive in lane. If they can survive, go even in lane, they've won. That's all Vayne wants. She does not want to keep skirmishing, as potentially is going on right here.
Yeah, it could be potentially Volibear looping around. The wards will spot it very late, and the flash may have to be expended, but Zealous is just going to leave. I mean, do you reckon it would have been worth for the volley flash for that ADC flash, or no?
I don't reckon it would have been worth it. Kaisa used her W and was in no position to catch up. She obviously would have started with Q, so there would have been no way of her gap closing that.
Yeah, that's a fair call. So a bit of a slow kind of push building here, and they could look for something bot side, but obviously Zac pathing down is going to be covering that quite safely in the top lane. The Beast is stacking two very heavy waves against Hemorrhage here, so Hemorrhage is going to have to collect these under tower underneath the poke.
Yeah, with Zealous, he's just left his entire top side alone, and Plebegon knows that Volley is bot side, and it's now invading Plebegon on his Gromp.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. We should have a quick eye towards this bottom jungle, if we can, because we can see over here that Plebegon is just clearing his camps and Volley's wasting so much time. I mean, Zealous was trying to look for something that wasn't really there, and Lazy should know his mid lane. Lazy should know about this mid lane, but he doesn't. He tries to get away, he has to flash, but Zealous doesn't follow with the flash. I'm surprised by that. Okay, Hemorrhage going in straight on top of the Beast. The Beast taking a lot of damage, and oh my god, that's an absolute mighty slap from Hemorrhage. Forces the flash, and the Beast kind of freaked out a little bit there. I mean, I don't think he was expecting the damage as much as I was. I mean, it's crazy.
As a Kled aficionado myself, I saw that coming from a mile away. It's just Hemorrhage knowing what to do at the right time. Burning a flash from the Beast is always a great win for him. And now he's getting that stacked wave up and hopefully getting a recall soon.
Yeah, and I think the biggest difference is there was obviously two errors made there, right? Zealous shouldn't have been in the bot jungle, for one, because now he's losing out on farm and a bit of tempo across the map because Plebegon's already got his base in and will be heading straight to the top lane for a gank or going for his Krogs. And the second mistake was obviously Lazy not acknowledging that he was in the bottom jungle, which Plebegon would have seen. So, two minor errors, but it shouldn't cost too much at the moment. The cannon does get missed by the Beast.
Now there's going to be a fat wave pushed in for Hemorrhage and hopefully able to get a nice back off this.
Yeah, should definitely be able to do that. Obviously not having TP, it's not going to matter if he gets a cheater in right now. He's going to walk down the river a little bit though first, maybe trying to spot some vision. Or actually he's going to walk straight into the enemy jungle and potentially place a deep ward, and there it is. So that's what these minor little differences that you see from good top laners versus the bad top laners is these little, you get the push so you have time to move around the map, whether you get a recall on a cheater, whether you put a ward in the enemy jungle, you're getting more information or more efficiency from that.
And the solo bolo from Hemorrhage in the top lane, getting the Gnar. Simple as it comes, no flash needed, no flash used by the Beast as he can't.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I must have been watching a little bit behind there, but yeah, that was an absolute solo bolo, and the damage, I think it blows my mind too. It's kind of like Warwick or like even watching some of those other champs, like the damage just came in so fast.
Have noticed Kat's doing a usual thing of emoting every chance she gets. I know for some people, especially Kyronix, it might be a bit tilting, but Kyronix, he just knows if he plays properly, doesn't distract himself with little things such as emoting, he can do the support diff and hopefully get his Vayne fed.
Yeah, hopefully. So now Gnar is 20 CS down. We'll collect some of this under the wave. Shouldn't be too bad for him, but I mean, Hemorrhage is just showing how much of a bully he is. And he hasn't even got his base in yet. Okay, Zac coming in over the wall. Perfect gank timing. Holy moly. The bait was perfect. All the summoners popped. Vayne trying to roll out. Chasing down this Kai'Sa, the 1, the 2, and gets stunned before he can get the third auto in. Leona gets shot into the wall, but the kill doesn't end up coming off. Volibear with the re-engage though, and he's just going to run away.
Kyronix hard carry will take that every day of the week. They're not the strongest spot lane for engagers right now compared to a Kai'Sa, so allowing them to push that wave in and hopefully get it back off here, and maybe even a dragon angle, it's just one of the best outcomes they could have got.
Yeah, for sure. Alright, so, I mean, with the summoners there, we look at the bot lane, there was 3 summoners burnt from Homicidal. There was also the flash from the Vayne. I mean, I wonder if he'd popped heal, maybe he would have been able to actually get that kill, that third hit. I don't really know, but Cat did manage to get a last little Q in there, which actually ended up saving Kaiser's life. So Ducky will be very happy about that one.
The fact that Kyronix hard carry got the first dragon is huge. They have a Zac and a Vayne compared to a Volley and a Kaiser. That
Hmm.
should not happen. Volley, he loves the early game. Zac, not so much. So that definitely should not happen.
Yep, 100%. And they use their base timings really, really well there off the back of that dive. And Nar actually does manage to get a plate and quite a bit of damage into that tower, which is very nice to trade. Obviously, the dragon's probably not worth it, but at least they're countering with some sort of change.
And then the serrated Dirk from the Kaiser wanting to get that Q evolved as fast as possible. And then Ezoro going in on Happy Guy, doing a little bit of damage, but not quite enough to make him scared.
Yeah, and I gotta say I have been impressed with how Lazy is facing this lane. Obviously not a natural mid laner at this point, but he's doing fairly well. Obviously down 10 CS, but I mean it really could be a lot worse at this point.
He has stopped that Cassidy from snowballing. Vincent thought with the Dark Seal he would be able to, but Ezoro has stopped him in his tracks.
Yeah, and in terms of scaling, this Cassidy will definitely become a menace, but you've also got a Vayne on the other team. So you got two champs that really have insane scaling. So it's, both teams got those options. Leona going in straight away gets condemned into the wall, and the Whimsy giving Sylvia some of that attack speed, but they're going to come out fairly okay after that.
As you can see from both builds from the top laners, they're both trying to get the Hull Breaker as soon as possible. So I doubt we're going to see either of them much at team fights, both of them running head on each other like steam trains, immovable objects, but eventually one of them is going to have to crack.
Oh, okay, Zac doing a little jump straight onto the top of Happy Guy, and he gets taken down with the Diana ultimate and killed by Plebegon, but Lazy does have to flash the Ignite, ticking down. He goes very low, but does manage to survive with that pot ticking. Lazy will be very happy to get out of there alive. Both ults used very, very well and quickly in order to capture that kill.
Even though Team Kyronix hard carry does have 2 kills up over Homicidal Urges, from the CS difference in mid and in the bot lane, it's nearly even in gold. They only have a 200 gold lead at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Now, are you sure that this is a Hull Breaker for Nah? Does Pickaxe build into anything else? Is Score Drinker
really.
Oh, okay. In the meantime, Volibear looking for this gank, but you know who's in the bot lane? Zac's in the bot lane, and that control ward's going to spot out that Volibear, so he's going to have to walk away. I don't know why he's walking to the jungle again. I guess he's just trying to get some vision. That's okay. The chains do connect on the beast. He's going to get pulled back, but not for much. Okay, in the mid lane, Volibear chasing down Lazy, and he's actually going to get really low here, but the damage comes back and forth. The Crescent comes through. Lazy 1 HP, and they trade 1 for 1. Volibear snapping up the kill right after the kill onto Happy Guy once again.
That was the best case scenario for Ezoro there, doing the best he could, getting damage in.
And we got a fight back in the bot lane. Plebegon coming in over the top. The Luluwalt used very early for the knockup. I mean, that might come back to bite them if Sylvia dies. No, he pops the heal and gets out just fine. I would have liked to see Kyronix hold off on that ultimate a little bit, potentially use it on the Vayne instead. Nah going in for some damage, but misses both of his skill shots, pegs him into the wall, and that's about it.
There's fights going on in every lane at the moment, mid, bottom, top, and then potentially Volibear is going to do another gank up into the top lane. Emerald going in.
Yep, he's coming in from behind. There's a lot of action at the moment on the map. The stun comes through, and nothing really happens. He's into baby form. He's running for his life, but he's going forward. He's a madman. He goes down. Oh my god, the barrier propped. He's going to get that one shot, but Nah ends up taking it. The Beast cleaning that up, and that looked really scary for a moment. But, I mean, look at this Hemorrhage guy. He's playing with no fear. He even walked up on them like...
In a moment, everything's turning on a dime, and Zac going in onto the Gnar.
He's going in onto the Gnar, and Diana's coming in with the ultimate, and Lazy played that as clean as you possibly could. He waited for the jump, and he used his second dash before he ulted. If he used the ult in the first dash, he would have lost that.
Ezoro showing why he belongs in the mid lane. Vincent being as stuck as a rock. As a Caston, it should not be happening. Diana is just out roaming him, out farming. Oh, not out farming. Out farming their heads with 2 kills. Out playing.
True. And I like the term out farming their heads, because I mean that's kind of what's happening at the moment. Zac coming in over the top onto the mid lane, pops the blue smite, and Cled's coming down from Main Street, comes down with the ultimate, goes over the wall, clicks over with the E, and actually collects the kill for himself. And what a nice setup. I mean, from the position of Happy Guy, you're thinking, okay, I'm in this jungle. The Kled's going topside. You never expect Kled to ult there. So
Never would. It's just fantastic play either side, but Team Kyronix hard carry, they just have all the tempo at the moment, having fights in every lane which they want. It's going fantastic, and Plebegon is enabling his lanes to get ahead.
yeah, absolutely. And now because of that roam, he was able to take the dragon, and he's actually going to move up to the top lane, and he won't actually lose anything at all against this Gnar. So I mean, that really comes down to Hemorrhage and the communication. You could actually see it visually between Plebegon and Hemorrhage.
Plebegon is just hovering on that bot side in case something happens, doing a cheeky little wait.
Okay,
Here's they have no idea.
they're running forward. Sylvia pops the ultimate, condemns the Leona, but doesn't actually manage to get the stun into the wall. Plebegon doing his absolute best, but the dash forward from Leona, the solo player comes through, and Lulu pops the ulti. They're getting really low on the tower. Plebegon taking a tower hit, but he does manage to get the kill, and it might be a double, but Sylvia trading blow for blow. Kaiser on 1 HP, knocks down. The tower shot comes through, and he survives on 1 HP. Volibear flash E combo, but Zac comes in with the re-engage and knocks him back, and he can't really do much at all. And the stun and the knockback, it's just not enough. This Volibear is going to go down. Potentially the shot from Sylvia. My god, this man is an absolute madman on this champion. And I mean, that prop just goes to him himself and also the peel from his teammates.
It's over, ladies and gentlemen. The Vayne is ahead. We said all she needed to do was go even, but now she's 2 kills up on the Kaiser. She will be able to just destroy them. There will be nothing the enemy team can do. Zac is just a menace, providing great peel for the Vayne, and Kyronix is hard carrying, doing everything possible for this Vayne.
Now, that was phenomenal. I mean, Sylvia couldn't have played that any better even if he tried, right? So, and Kyronix played it really well too. So there's going to be a dive on the tower. Does Nara even have a chance? Oh, no, dancing around. The mini Kled running for his life is managed to get away from the last tower shot, but he knows the limitations on this champ perfectly.
It appears you can just not ban Hemorrhage, ban his Yorick. He's got something up his sleeve.
Yeah.
His champ pool is about as deep as a Jew's pocket, so hopefully he shows what else he has later on.
Joe, you have to give me warning. I had coke in my mouth.
Oh, my bad, man.
Sorry, that was really funny. Yeah, speaking of Jew's pockets, Gamma's watching in the chat. And yeah, he's telling us that the stream is lagging, so I don't know if that's just his end or ours, but we're just gonna have a look at that. But either way, we'll continue on with the cast. It seems like the gold lead is starting to mount quite heavily, the 9 kills to 2, and a gold lead of 3k, but we're gonna try and see what happens there.
In the mid lane, we had a nice little skirmish, picking up the 2 kills, the double kill for Ezoro. And then in the top lane, we have Hemorrhage fighting the beast.
Uh-oh, he doesn't know. He doesn't know, he comes in, the Gnar pops over the top of him to escape, but I mean, that could have been even worse. In the bot lane, they're just training at the moment, not much happening, but, you know, it is what it is, we'll see what happens.
Hemorrhage going in once again, the nice solo bolo.
Yep, so coming in over the top now, Sylvia dishing in the damage as Zac is trying to peel for his teammates, but, you know, we're trying our best to fix the problems for you guys at the moment, so just bear with us for just a second.
It's fine, a few technical difficulties, who doesn't have them? LCS has about 7 a week, so if we have one, we're still 6 times better.
I do like how Kyronix is playing so aggressive with this Lulu. I mean, you know, for someone who hasn't played that much support, I mean, you can tell he's really warming into the champion a bit.
And I love how he's giving Cat a bit of their own medicine, emoting right in front of their face on the bot lane, showing them what's up. I'm better than you. Deal with it.
So, what's your opinion on this this hull breaker from the Gnar?
From the Gnar, I like Hull Breaker if you're ahead. Allows you to push more, get more of that gold lead. Well, if you're behind, it's useless. If you go for a team fight, you're basically an item down.
Yeah.
So I would have preferred it if the Gnar went straight for that mythic.
Yeah, I would have way preferred him to go for, say, a Stride Breaker or even a Divine Sunderer. Would have been a lot better of an option in this situation. I think the Hull Breaker just doesn't make sense because, you know, if he's losing top lane very clearly, he needs to just accept his losses and then just try and provide for the team a little bit more and go for a mythic that's going to enable him to do that.
Yeah, so Stable play right now. Tempo's really slowed down compared to what it was. We were having fights up the wazoo in every single lane, but now just nice little chill, waiting for the objectives to pop up.
Yep, so interestingly, Vayne has gone for the Immortal Shield Bow for the extra sustain. Kyronix might be caught out here. Happy Guy chasing him down, and it looks to be chasing him down very clearly, but Kyronix flashes actually, which is very interesting. Vayne goes down very low, but the ult comes in over the top. Zac with the ring engage. Kai'Sa goes down to 1 HP. Sylvia pumping in the damage, manages to get the second auto up, rolling into forward. He's an absolute madman. The polymorph, the whimsy, he goes forwards, and Leona goes down to 1 HP. I mean, this is the synergy. You'd think these guys have been playing for years.
That was fantastic. I know everyone's going to be looking at the Vayne. The Vayne smurfed that fight, obviously, but
Kyronix.
the real MVP is Kyronix. That Lulu ultimate was huge, and the shield he provided to that Vayne just enabled the team fight to last even longer. But also, we can't forget Plebagon just diving in and allowing that to have that re-engage on the
Yeah.
enemy team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this game is looking really grim. I think it could be over already, but just back to that point, Kyronix just acts like he's been playing with him, Sylvia, for so long, the two of them together. So
It is called Kyronix hard carry for a reason, and he's showing us why it's called that.
yeah. Um, so they're gonna be taking the Rift Herald. This is solo Rift Herald from Kled, I believe. This is crazy. I guess he can just do it.
Yeah, there's no one there to contest him. They were so just out of resources from that bot lane fight, homicidal urges, that Hemorrhage is able to get that free Rift Herald. And Damon, I'm getting information from my correspondent Gru that the other game has already finished once again.
Oh, really? What was the result?
We might have to wait here because it appears there could be a nah. It appears that Madison Beer Sims ended up beating the Dream Team, so we will
Oh,
be able to see them in another match.
mate, Lockie, what did I say about Lockie entering the losers bracket? I knew, as soon as Lockie entered that bracket, he was going to win the next 2 games. He just doesn't. He just has a fighting spirit, and there was no way he was going to be losing in that bracket.
It is his comfort zone. Put him down 0-1, 0-2, he comes back. He's a fighter, he's not a quitter. That's one thing I know about Lockie.
It's true. He's a competitor, and that's for sure. But we will definitely get a chance to look at his game later on in the night. But let's just have a look at this at the moment. I'm just trying to fix some mic issues. If you want to go ahead, Joe.
All good, there was a flash used there from the beast, nothing coming from it. But Kled is able to push in E-Zoro, going in on the Kai'Sa, ulting away, but then the ult from the E-Zoro just finishing her off nice and cleanly. No one will be able to match Diana. She was just murking everyone. She will one-shot you even before you blink. And I do have to say, a happy guy going with the Shattered Crown. I'm not the biggest fan. I prefer the Everfrost on the Cathodon. Just that slow, or the root if you're skilled enough to hit it. I don't know if Vincent is. It's just so much more valuable for the team.
All right, sorry, I'm back. A couple mic issues. Do I sound okay, Joe?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Okay, cool. I just don't want to hear the fan in the background. We've had to move a couple things because we have computers overheating, and obviously we don't want that to ruin the stream. So anyway, we're going to continue on. The Baron fight isn't really a fight because it's just a one-sided affair. They're just slaying this Baron.
More of a pummeling, you could say.
It is more of a pummeling. I mean, this Baron's going to go down, and there's really not too much to say about this game. I can't see any way for Homicidal to get back into this.
Yeah, look, if the Vayne and Diana are this far ahead, what can you do to stop? All they have is Leona CC, hopefully, and maybe a good volley engage, but with the Gnar so far behind, they have no chance.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just not even close. This comp is just so nasty.
And I'm just happy Plebagon is showing us he doesn't have to play the Evelyn, he doesn't have to play the Kayn. He's able to, we'll say he's carrying on the Zac, because he is carrying. He's getting the fantastic engages for his team, enabling them to be pushing and potentially ending the game right now.
I think it's very clear that this team comp and this team is really strong, and that's off the back of Amika obviously being a last pick. I mean that this team is just always set up for success, and Kyronix has just improved so much in a short matter of time as well. So there's a lot of credit that goes out to the captain for the draft, but also to the other captains for throwing the draft, pretty much.
Yes, I don't think we've ever had an average rivals where someone's not thrown the draft.
It's
I'm looking at
true.
you, Emma.
Yeah, it's usually Gamma's fault in some way or another. So just everyone in chat blame Gamma.
Gamma
But
messes up everything. He got me addicted to drugs once.
yeah, yeah. He does that to people. I'm really sad I didn't get to see Gamma play because I know how much he was looking forward to this tournament. I would have liked to see him on the Vega, even though,
That
yeah,
is a highlight. I love seeing his Vega. It gives me a right old giggle sometimes. I'm sure Bold Wieners would love to see the Vega in action again.
I'm sure I'm sure he wouldn't. Um, either way, this game, yeah, there's really not much to talk about. So, I guess we can kind of cast our sights onto the next game and think about what's going to be happening because I do
Hey,
believe,
it's a bit disrespectful of you, Damon. They could come back. You can't count them out.
mate, the goal difference is 12K. You know what? I you're right. There has been games over the weekend. I think in the LCS where, was it the LCS or the LEC where oh, it was LEC because G2 were losing to one team by like 15K or something. Misfits, and they ended up losing the game somehow. So
Yeah,
I've seen
can't count them out.
you definitely can't.
Especially especially if Vincent's on the team.
It's true, and Caston is a scaling champ, so who knows, right?
If they get to 30 minutes, he's called Castle win for a reason.
It definitely doesn't make sense though. This, I mean, the Hullbreaker on Nara just blows my mind because Nara is a team fight champ. You know, his ultimate and all these abilities are team fight oriented, and I just don't understand the Hullbreaker really.
Especially when you're so far behind already, you're just
Yeah,
putting yourself further behind.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, I don't know what you make of the chem tank on the volley bear, but I even think that's a little bit odd.
I like the Chemtech because, like, in this game, obviously he's not going to need to do the damage. He has Kassadin, he has Kai'Sa. Maybe would have thought Nah could have done a bit, but obviously not in this case. But with how he was performing the early game, yeah, obviously Turbo Chemtank was not doing that good.
All right. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, this if this is a loss for Ducky's team, this will be their first loss, I do believe. So they'll be going on to the losers bracket to face Locky if it does pan out that way.
Hemorrhage is being the ultimate Giga Chad, just diving into their team,
Look at
trying to
him.
get the inhib, not caring about them, but unfortunately they do care enough about him, and Izoro with the wonderful engage.
Yeah, wonderful engage. All the ultimates come flying in. Plebegon from Narnia comes back from the back line, bounces all over everyone with the Zac ultimate. Meanwhile, Sylvia, look at Sylvia, man. He's just got a double kill, a triple. Look at him just clean up in the back line. I mean, this, you can't give him Vayne. You just can't do it.
Oh, you can give him Vayne if you want to lose.
Yeah, if you want to lose, you can give him Vayne.
And it looks like Homicidal Urges wanted to lose bad enough.
Now, the MVP is actually going to be a lot harder in this game, I think.
I know, there's...
Okay.
You could potentially give it to everyone, but for me, the standout three were definitely Plebegon, Sylvia, and Kyronix.
Yeah, I'd actually agree on those three as well. Even though the Kled diffed top lane very hard and also lazy diffed mid lane, you'd have to either give it to Pleb or Sylvia or Kyronix. I mean, we'll cast it over to Twitch chat. We'll put all five up for grabs, and we'll just let you guys decide who you believe was the MVP of that game. So let us know in Twitch chat before we cast it back to us for the final say.
Damage graphs? Look, we can't see the damage graphs, Plebegon. Lazy Q, I do in fact have eyes, and my eyes were saying you weren't top 3, mate.
Okay, well, no one in the chat is responding to the MVP, so...
If you're not responding to the MVPs, I'll make the decision myself.
Alright, so wait, Joe, who do you think it is?
Look, I think I know who it is. The MVP, the hard carry himself, Kyronix.
See, it's hard, man. It's hard because I mean, you got to look at the three situations, right? So you got Pleb who was impacting all over the map. He got lazy ahead, he got top lane ahead, he got everywhere ahead, right? I mean, well, really, top lane was kind of just only on Hemorrhage. He kind of did that himself mainly, but and then you've also got Kyronix who was really good supporting Sylvia and really well timed buffs. And then you've also got Sylvia, who just knew his limits and knew his support would carry him through those situations and pumping in the damage. So, I mean, I'm willing to give it a tie.
Nah, no ties here.
No, I'm willing to do it.
Well,
I mean,
let me make my case for Kyronix.
Alright, go on.
It's the MVP, the most valuable player. He was willing to play a champ he barely plays. He was being the glue to hold the team together. Without him picking that Lulu, there was no win. There was no MVP for him. If he wasn't on
True.
Lulu, it was an FF15.
I do agree, but I don't know, man. There's just something about the way Sylvia and Pleb played that just make it really hard for me to give it away to someone else. So, I mean, how
Well,
about
they have their chance further down the line because they did win this, and I think we just give this one to Kyronix for now.
you know what? I will agree to an extent because I want to keep this game in the back of my mind when we're thinking about the overall MVP. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, and
I,
the fantastic prize we can't reveal yet.
exactly. So I will agree that Kyronix is definitely one of the MVPs of this game. But we will keep in mind all the good players of this game in the final MVP. So anyway,
Except
let's
Zoro.
except Zoro. Yeah, he got carried by everyone as always. You're trash, lazy. Anyway, just kidding. Love you. Yeah.
I don't
So
love you, Zoro.
I mean, we may need to go on a break, but maybe not. I mean, if the next teams are ready, Joe.